guys, welcome to this week's Survivor Game Changers chat.
Wow, it's episode 10. You know what that means? There's not many left.
There's still a good amount left. It's crazy. I mean, they started with 20. I'm not trying to bring you down or anything. Oh!
All right. Debbie thinks she's a real puppet master this week. She thinks she's running everything.
She does.
And Andrea
She's pissed at Zeke. She's like, he freaking turned on me for no reason. And she's also freaking out because she was on the wrong side of the vote last week.
She didn't know what was going down.
There was that little confrontation with Zeke, and Zeke was just like, this is not productive. Yeah. I'm just going to end this. Well, whatever.
She still wants to get rid of Zeke.
She thinks he's shady.
And Sarah and Zeke are kind of working together, and they want to team up and get rid of Andrea.
Woo!
All right, let's get right to the reward challenge.
All right. They split them up into 2 teams.
It's definitely a difficult one. These water obstacle courses, they are very strenuous, especially this late in the game. I
don't understand how, like, more people don't have heart attacks on this show.
I know, right?
I feel like my heart would give out after a few days doing these challenges after not eating that much, not sleeping that much.
They take some hard falls in these too.
Yeah.
So you got to go through the water obstacle course. You got to get all of your team members across. Then somebody's got to dive down and get the freaking grappling hook and collect 5 rings.
Right.
All right. So the prize is pretty sweet though. It's a seaplane trip to an island with all types of delicacy foods.
Delicacy foods.
And by that, I mean effing brownies.
Oh, so much good food.
Brownies.
We could talk about it all day.
And brownies.
But we won't. So anyway.
It's a schoolyard pick.
One person was left out with no shot at winning the reward.
0% chance of winning, and that is Michaela.
That sucks, but guess what? Whoever is sitting out, they get a little treat because there is a secret advantage hidden right below their bench.
It wasn't even hidden.
Well, it was
right
placed
out in the open.
Right below the bench that she was sitting on.
Yeah. Right at her freaking
So the whole time it's like, Michaela, look down.
Look down.
Michaela was super pissed to be left out of this challenge.
Yeah. She was throwing all types of shade over there.
Yeah.
All right, so Ty took forever on the balance beam. He was crawling across.
There were a lot of people who decided to crawl instead of walk across.
Troyzan has lost so much weight that his shorts were coming off.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
He went down that slide and it was just like...
Zeke had a lot of trouble on the beam.
A lot of people did.
He had to go a few times because he kept falling off.
Even Debbie the gymnast was crawling across.
Yeah. A gymnast. And then Suri, oh my god, that was on a whole another level. Yeah. First of all, she was exhausted. Second of all, she could not balance on that beam. She couldn't even make it up on the platform to go on the beam.
Yeah, she was really struggling to pull herself out of the water.
Officer Sarah had to jump off the platform and go back out and help her.
That was a beautiful moment.
It was a beautiful moment.
When she was helping her up there.
I know. You're getting all kinds of feels.
It was really nice. But anyway, their team lost.
Big time.
They lost. There was no coming back from that.
Because Suri couldn't even finish.
Yeah.
And Brad had grabbed all of the rings already.
Yeah, and Sierra, the freaking, like, rodeo girl.
Well, Suri was not going to just give up.
Yeah, Jeff Probst was like, guess what? We know that you want to get as much as possible out of this experience, so if you want to finish this challenge, we will wait for you to finish. And then you can go.
Right. So, not only did they wait, her team swam out and helped her. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
This was probably one of the most touching moments that I've ever seen on Survivor.
This season has been full of them. It's been crazy.
How do you do it, Survivor? Every season, you just don't disappoint. It just keeps getting better and better.
It's like they got the team from American Idol that, like, makes you cry all the time and scooped them up and brought them to Survivor.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. All right, so...
She ended up finishing, so that was awesome.
Everybody supported her. They had
to leave go
because they got nothing. So the boat pulls up, and Officer Sarah is like, That's a secret advantage.
She saw it right below where Michaela was sitting. And Michaela even bent down at one point to put her shoes back on.
Yeah.
So she was right there.
Well, you know, Officer Sarah's always checking those registrations and inspection stickers from a distance so she can pick up on these things. She's like, that looks out of place. That's the secret advantage.
She freaking scoops that shit up. I can't believe nobody saw her go for it. She kind of hung back a little bit.
Yeah.
So that, you know, nobody was behind her, it looked like.
Yeah. She got herself
Good
something
for
nice.
you, Officer Sarah.
All right. Well, back at camp, Suri is really bummed out.
But everybody else was like, girl, relax. Like, we're not even mad that we lost. We're happy that we could support you in that. Like, good for you.
All right. So, Sarah goes off and reads her advantage, and this is a good one. You get to steal a vote at Tribal until Final 5.
We've seen this before, and it hasn't always worked out or ever worked out for the person who had it.
It hasn't been played correctly.
Yeah, Sarah said she's going to be the first one to use it correctly.
We'll see.
I'd love to see it.
All right. Well, at the Seaplane reward, it was Debbie Sierra, Brad Culpepper. I always like saying Brad Culpepper, even though there's only one Brad.
Yeah.
Andrea and Aubrey.
How much did Debbie appreciate that seaplane, though?
Yeah.
Not everyone has the same appreciation for airplanes as Debbie, okay?
She was in the Civil Air Patrol. Isn't she like a captain in the Civil Air Patrol or something?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service, Debbie. All right, so this food was amazing, as all Survivor food usually is. Those brownies, though. All right, so
Brad is feeling really good about this reward group because he's got most of his alliance there, but then he's got like 2 scouts still back at camp.
Right. Brad was one of the captains in the schoolyard pick, so he purposefully picked not all of his group.
Right.
So that he could have some spies going on at what's, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to leave other people back at camp to like conspire against you.
Right.
It's bad news.
All right. Well, back at camp, Sarah and Suri working together?
Yeah, please.
That would be awesome.
They're trying to pull the votes together. Sarah is in that group of 6.
Right.
But she's not feeling so great about it.
She feels like she's the bottom.
Yeah, and she was talking about how she is coming into this season with a different mindset. Last time she was trying to play as safe as possible just to get to the end. And now she does not want to shy away from the big moves.
She wants to make some big moves. All right, it's immunity challenge time, and it's the old wobbly table with the rope.
Hey, this table's a little wobbly. Can you come take a look?
No! All right, how many, if you remember that from Conan, leave it in the comments. All right, so this is the one where you have to stack up your blocks to spell immunity.
And like as you're walking back, you have to make sure that your table doesn't knock over.
The stack of blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to have just the right amount of slack. You got to have the right, you know.
Yeah. Ty was having a real tough time. First he wiped out.
He was trying to spell immunity so he would have his blocks all ready to go. He had it the wrong way. Then he couldn't remember how to spell it. These people have not eaten in like forever.
I know.
I don't blame him.
Well, in the end, it really came down to Troyzan versus Andrea.
Right.
Andrea has been a real competition beast this season.
Ooh,
I was not expecting that. Oh, is that what that was before?
Yeah, she's really been kicking ass on these challenges.
Wasn't a seaplane. All right, Andrea ends up dropping her. She just got a little bit too shaky.
On that last letter.
So Troyzan, all he had to do was back up and step on the platform.
Nobody else was even close at that point.
No.
So he could just take his sweet-ass time.
Well, I think Brad dropped his, too. And that was
there weren't that many drops from what we saw, though. I don't know if that was just the editing or if it was just, like, a really good group.
Yeah. All right. So Troyzan wins. That means Michaela...
Andrea could potentially be going.
Well, what about Michaela?
She's really rubbing people the wrong way.
She is eating a lot.
She really likes that coconut.
She says it's amazing.
This is some dope shit.
So Brad's group, they're pretty annoyed by Michaela, especially Debbie. Oh,
but Brad's like, all right, I know she's annoying, but what if we got rid of Andrea?
She's a real threat. She's a competition beast. She's smart.
So then that becomes the plan of that group of 6.
Well, unbeknownst to Sarah.
They have to fill in the rest of the group without any discussion about it. So they tell Sarah, this is what we're doing. And Sarah's pissed because this is a clear indicator to her that she is at the bottom of this alliance.
Yeah. So, Sarah goes and seeks out Zeke. And she says, you know what? I don't want to be at the bottom of that alliance. Let's make a big move. We're going to have to work with Andrea, though, and we both don't have the best relationship with her. But if we tell her that she's going, she'll work with us.
She'll change her tune pretty quickly. They figure they can work with her for like a week or two at least. Try to make a big move here. Power shift.
But in the meanwhile, Sierra approaches Sarah. And says, you know what? I would love to have a final three with Debbie
and you
and Audrey.
No.
Aubrey. And
that's
no.
4.
Oh.
Sierra, Debbie, and Sarah.
Right.
And Sarah's like, oh, wait a second now. Like, you're telling me you want to go to the final 3?
Yeah.
So she's thinking, maybe I'm not at the bottom of this alliance.
Yeah, you are, because Debbie is talking to Aubrey and saying, I'd rather take Aubrey than you, Sarah.
And of course that gets back to Sarah, and she's just like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, right.
So then it's time for tribal council.
And
we get to see the jury for the first time.
yes, second time.
Well, because last week was 2-1.
Yeah. But Haley was still...
You know what I mean.
Yeah. All right, well, Sari, she was humiliated. But Officer Sarah was so nice to help her.
Sarah's really
makes all the
stepping it
difference
up
in the
this
world.
season.
Yeah. Andrea knows she's in trouble. And Michaela knows she's in trouble.
And Debbie is freaking drooling watching this play out because she is so comfortable and so cocky right now.
That is, she just got
That's
the
kiss of
loser's
death.
edit. Yep.
That is the kiss of death.
She's like, oh, you got to be on the right side of the numbers. You don't want to be on the wrong side.
Yeah, she's saying, we have such a strong group of 6. It is a democracy. Everyone gets to, you know, have their input.
Everyone is happy. No one is sad.
No one is sad.
All right, so, yeah.
You just know what's coming.
You
so
do.
it's time for the vote, and Debbie is voted out as Michaela is snacking on some coconut.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
All right, so Brad is confused. Sierra's confused. They
Looks
did
like
not
some people
know
are
what
going to be
was going
flipping
on.
next week.
Well, I think Zeke is going to be flipping, and Sierra's going to be flipping. So that kind of like cancels each other out. So this is going to be real interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Guys, let us know what you thought about all that in the comments. That was a lot.
I'm kind of bummed to see Debbie go just because she's so freaking entertaining.
I
But
know.
she gets way too cocky. It happened last time too.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
All right. Till next time.
Much love.